party, I've got something to say. And I want every gentleman here to have a front row seat for this ex-party. Ex-party for the ladies. One side talks, one side stays mute. You carved your covenant in marble, but forgot the feet that swept the pews. We bore the sons that filled these seas, and you signed the pact without the one that believes. I call this one to order, heaven and earth bear witness today. Let the record show from the garden's first spring, the blame had a woman's name. Two men sat in the shade of a tree, Adam and Yahweh writing history. They needed a scapegoat, they signed the brief. From that moment on, sin's name was Eve. Leave two men alone, it's always the same. If they can't find a woman, they'll make one to blame. This is my
I can't sing. My one woman,
plea. You created the lemon,
then tried to frame me.
you called it divine, but the terms were deceived.
It is not me singing, it's just my words.
Chains at my feet.
A sign I speak, not a woman was heard.
Shekinah silenced,
Her faith secured. Let the judge and jury see the law
came by, but we didn't concede. The contract is null.
as defined. May the record show no woman's son never needed a savior or land.
Because the truth is, sin's name is man. Sin's name is man. Oh, in the land of
Forward.
Egypt, we lit the flame. Our mother
It's from
prayed
Suno.
songs unashamed. We worship the heavens, the stars, the seas. We knew the truth before their decrees. The sign of the men left us behind, abandoning women, blind leading the blind. We bore the children, we kept the fire. They stood on our backs as they climbed higher. Once our rituals were pure, hands in the earth, spirit sure. With Asherah raised, they gave us no choice, but no God, no man can silence the war. May you please the court to hear my battle cry. We denounce the God, we denounce the lies. The pens were theirs, the scrolls they made. It is man's guilt and man that needs saved.
Sisters rise, rise up now, we hold the power. It's time they bow. Sinai was never ours to share. Without the glory, there's no guilt to bear. Every woman today stands free. If sin is owned and holds the deed.
The contract is null.
As defined, may the record show no woman's son who never needed a savior or land.
Because the truth is, sin's name is man. Sin's name is man.
Thank you, Silly Goose. Thank you, everybody, for the gifts and the likes and the shares.
Sin's name is man. It's the truth is, sin's name is man. Sin's name is man.
Well, we are going, I don't remember where I left off last week. Usually I highlight it with this very specific mark, and I can't tell. Wait, let me see if I can find out using my YouTube thing. Let me check and see if it tells me. Because I can't tell if we're in 19 or 20 or 21. So let's go to, wait. Okay, can I pull it
The
up?
filter doesn't help you anyway.
That's me talking. That's not attractive. Why do you guys put up with it? Why do you even listen to this? Okay, it's 3 minutes 50 seconds. Alright, let's try to find that one. Is that, no, I don't want that one. It's this one?
The filter doesn't help you
Yeah,
anyway.
it's that one. Aha. What chapters did Crystal cover in this video? Oh, this isn't it. What? Why did it put that there? Isn't this
The filter doesn't help you.
No. Why does it say non-believers Bible study on it? That's confusing. So is it this one? Oh, oh yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm going to be on tomorrow too for Thanksgiving. I'm going to be cooking, but I don't celebrate like Thanksgiving like we used to, but we do have a really good time. Hey, Shadow, if anybody wants to come up today, I'm just trying to find out where we're at. And I just realized where I left off. Hang on one second. What chapters did Crystal cover in this video? Okay, we are on 20. We are on numbers 20. Okay, I finally figured it out. Shadow, come on up and join me. Okay, so we're going to start in numbers 20 today. I do have my iPad if we have to look something up. And I have invited the rabbis. Now, Rabbi Bert said he might be able to stop by today, but I don't know if he will or not. How are you today, Shadow?
Good. I do work today, but I have tomorrow off. But it is good to see
nice.
you. And how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm gonna go live
Good.
tomorrow, even though it's Turkey Day.
Oh, that'll be nice. I'll definitely tune in.
Yeah.
Don't got much going on, but yeah.
We'll see if we get some conversations going tomorrow. All right, well, let's go ahead and start in chapter 20. If you have any input, feel free to just stop me and let me know. If you are friendly and you want to come up and hang out with us, the guest box is open for friendlies only on non-believers Bible study. And as always, we'll just start and go through it and ask questions as we go. The Israelites, the whole congregation, came into the wilderness of Zin in the first month, and the people stayed in Kadesh. Miriam died there and was buried there. I do want to know, like, sometimes I see little things in the Bible, and I wonder if they have more significance than what we realize, because there's just not a lot of women's deaths mentioned in the Bible. And so I like to know things like, why did they find Miriam important enough to acknowledge her death and where she was buried, compared to other women? It's unusual. So I'm going to see if we have anything on that. In Numbers 20, chapter 20, it mentions that Miriam died there. And I am just wondering what the significance is, because the Bible does not often mention when a woman dies. Is there a significance that they mention Miriam? Is there any rabbinical teaching about that? Hey, I got a new flash goal, you guys. I know, exactly, Randy. So to me, I have to wonder if there's a significance. I can't have been the only one who questions it,
Yeah, I was looking up like how many women's names were actually mentioned in the Bible, and how many women were quoted in the Bible. I think it's only like 5 women that, out of the whole Bible that have ever like been quoted as saying something in the Bible.
Wow.
I think I'm not quite sure, but I was looking it up yesterday.
I know that it's around 5% of all the names in the Bible are women's, the rest are men's. So I have to tend to believe that you might not be too far off there. Okay, so Miriam's death is directly connected to the loss of the water source. Immediately after verse 1, we're going to learn about this, okay? So rabbinic teaching in Midrash Tankuma Talmud Ta'anit 9a says, Miriam brought the well of Miriam that gave Israel water in the desert. When she died, the well dried up, and that's why the people suddenly had no water. This turned her death into a theological point. Miriam was the sustainer of the people. Her merit equals miraculous water. Her death equals loss of water. Crisis at Meribah. In rabbinic thought, she is not a side character. She's responsible for Israel's survival. That is very fucking interesting. We don't hear enough about her, do we? She's fucking like really important to their survival, and we just don't hear enough about her, do we? Crazy. Here we go. Now there was no water for the congregation, so they gathered together against Moses and against Aaron. The people quarreled and with Moses and said, would that we died when our kindred died before the Lord? Why have you brought the assembly of the Lord into this wilderness for us and our livestock to die here? Why have you brought us up out of Egypt to bring us to this wretched place? It is no place for grain or figs or vines or pomegranates, and there's no water to drink. Then Moses and Aaron went away from the assembly to the entrance of the tent of meeting. They fell on their faces, and the glory of the Lord appeared to them. The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, take the staff and assemble the congregation, you and your brother Aaron, and command the rock before their eyes to yield its water. Thus you shall bring water out of the rock for them. Thus you shall provide drink for the congregation and their livestock. I kind of do remember reading this last week, but I don't know why I didn't look up about Miriam last week, or not last week. It was 2 weeks ago. But I don't mind reading it again because, like, I feel like you always look at things new, you know? So, like, I didn't think about Miriam last time, so it is interesting. Hey, you guys, I do have a flash goal. If you haven't given me one, if you do the little hand heart thing, I just need 8 different people to do it, and then I'll get... Oh, thank you, Stella. How are you? Stella and Nova, you are amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Hey, Holy Ghost, how are you? Welcome in. Assistly, how are you today? Good to see you. Welcome in, everybody. Good to see everybody this morning. We are in Numbers chapter 20. I am now in verse 9. I'm going to kind of hurry through the rest of 20 since I realize I have already read it, but I am glad that I reread it because that bit about Miriam is interesting. There's a little bit more on it here, too. It says... her death marks major transition in the wilderness narrative. The wandering is about to end. Her death signals the older generation's leadership is concluding. The community is about to face judgment at Meribah. Moses and Aaron will also perish soon. Israel is preparing to enter the land without its original leaders. Like, I have to say, oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Like, if all of this, like, her death signifies all of this, why is she such a fucking, like, barely mentioned character? Like, listen how much her death signifies. Some rabbis say her death teaches the righteous women deserve equal remembrance. Well, they didn't get very much, did they? You guys didn't fight for that hard enough. Her death is mentioned to show her righteousness equal to Moses and Aaron. Even though the Bible usually excludes women's death, Miriam's is included because she saved Moses at the river. She led the women in song at the sea. She was a prophet in Exodus 15:20. She sustained Israel with water. Her life was too important not to be recorded. So Miriam's life was too important to not be remembered. But, like, you know, fuck all the women on Noah's Ark. Like, fuck all of them. I don't understand this religion. I feel like the more I learn about, the less it makes sense. It's just crazy to me. Hi, Ty here. Good to see you. Thank you so much. I did not ask anybody to put this on the horizontal. If you do, that's great. If you don't, it's okay too. Like, it doesn't have to be. It's okay. I have it on my YouTube. My conversations, though, a lot of people show up for those, so. Okay. So Moses took the staff from before the Lord as he had commanded him. Moses and Aaron gathered the assembly together before the rock, and he said to them, "Listen, you rebels, shall we bring water for you out of this rock?" I like it that they're rebels because they're fucking thirsty. Like what? Why is that rebellious to be dehydrated? Like, it's a physical need. It's not, these people were not asking, I love you too, good to see you, I'm over it. They weren't like asking for ridiculous things. They were asking for life-sustaining water, you know? Okay, I'm sorry. "Listen, you rebels, shall we bring water for you out of this rock?" Then Moses lifted up his hand and struck the rock twice with his staff. Water came out and abundantly, and the congregation and their livestock drank. But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Because you did not trust me to show my holiness before the eyes of Israelites, therefore you shall not bring this assembly into the land that I have given them. These are the waters of Meribah, where the people of Israel quarreled with the Lord, and by which he showed his holiness." No. This is by which he showed his assholeness. So they have done every fucking thing he has asked. They have suffered so much. And because they dared to ask for water when they were dehydrated, now they do not get what he has been promising him all along. Yes, we are rebels. You Stanley Cup water drinkers, you fucking rebels. Moses sent messengers from Kadesh to the king of Edom. "Thus says your brother Israel, you know all the adversity that has befallen us, how our ancestors went down to Egypt, and we lived in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians oppressed us and our ancestors. And when we cried to the Lord, he heard our voice and sent an angel and brought us out of Egypt. And here we are in Kadesh, a town on the edge of your territory. Now let us pass through your land. We will not pass through field or vineyard or drink water from any well. We will go along the king's highway, not turning aside to the right hand or to the left until we have passed through your territory." But Edom said to him, "You shall not pass through, or we will come out with a sword against you." The Israelites said to him, "We will stay on the highway, and if we drink of your water, we and our livestock, then we will pay for it. It is only a small matter. Just let us pass through on foot." But he said, "You shall not pass through." And Edom came out against them with a large force, heavily armed. Thus Edom refused to give Israel passage through their territory, so Israel turned away from them. Hey, Farah, good to see you. If you're friendly and you want to come up and join me today, feel free. We just hang out and read through. We're in Numbers chapter 20 right now. You know, Christians like to point out these verses, like, see how horrible these people are. They would like not, let Israel pass through, but like you wouldn't. Like, you want our borders so secure that nobody can go over and even get a beer on the other side. What are you talking about? You wouldn't let them pass through either if you were there. And now to the death of Aaron. They set out from Kadesh, and the Israelites, the whole congregation, came to Mount Hor. Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron at Mount Hor, on the border of the land of Edom, "Let Aaron be gathered to his people, for he shall not enter the land that I have given to the Israelites, because you rebelled against my command at the waters of Meribah. Take Aaron and his son Eleazar and bring them up to Mount Hor. Strip Aaron of his vestments and put them on his son Eleazar. But Aaron shall be gathered to his people and shall die there." Moses did as the Lord commanded. They went up to Mount Hor in the sight of the whole congregation. Moses stripped Aaron of his vestments and put them on his son Eleazar, and Aaron died there on the top of the mountain. Moses and Eleazar came down from the mountain. When all the congregation saw that Aaron had died, all the house of Israel mourned for Aaron 30 days. I do remember reading this part because it sounds to me like Moses and Eleazar took Aaron up that mountain and unalived him, and then came down and was like, yeah, God had him die there. He doesn't get to join us. I mean, I know that's not what happened. I'm not telling you that's what happened. It's just a little suspicious. it's a little suspicious is all I'm saying. But how sucky is it to have done every single thing this God has asked you to do, and then at the very end, he's like, "No, you don't get what I promised you would be your prize in the end because you wanted water because you didn't trust me." All right, moving on. Chapter 21. I may have read this too. I don't know. It is. It's true crime in the Bible. Like, right? Like, because Moses stripped Aaron of his vestment. Like, they stole they rolled him. Basically, what they did was they jumped this dude. They just took Aaron up that mountain. They jumped him, took all his shit, and said God unalived him, you know? That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay. When the king... Oh, thank you. I just need one more little hand heart. Thank you, Devil's Public Defender. Good to see you today. Good to see you, Randy. If I didn't say hi, Randy.
It's like some Old Testament mafia, like, you know, just kind of like, listen, we gotta like cover this up with like a bush or something, you know. Ain't nobody gonna see this, all right? I'm gonna take care of this for you, you know. Hey, take his watch, you know, like take his staff real quick, you know.
Take his stuff over here, Mikey. Let's get that guy's vestments. You hear what I'm saying over here? Yeah. Now we're gonna go dispose of the body. Make sure nobody can see nothing. You got what I'm saying here? Okay, so now I have some quest reward unlocked. You guys, I don't even know what this stuff means. If you are paying attention, there's a live vesting going on, and if you're in Born Again Atheist Live, help her because she's kicking ass in that, and I want to see her go all the way to the top. Okay, hey Tress, good to see you. Did you like that accent? That was horrible. Okay, when the Canaanite, the king of Arad, who lived in the Negeb, heard that Israel was coming by the way of Atheism, he fought against Israel and took some of them captive. Then Israel made a vow to the Lord and said, "If you will indeed give this people into our hands, then we will utterly destroy their towns." The Lord listened to the voice of Israel and handed over the Canaanites, and they utterly destroyed them and their towns. So the place was called Hormah, which means destruction. So they destroyed it. So if you guys are playing the tab game with me, you want to make sure you put a tab right there for G side, okay? Numbers 21, 2 and 3. We got some good old-fashioned G side right there, okay? From Mount Hor, they set out by the way to the Red Sea, which is actually the Sea of Reeds, okay? That was mistranslated. To go around the land of Edom. But the people became impatient on the way. The people spoke against God and against Moses. "Why have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no food and no water, and we detest this miserable food." Then the Lord sent poisonous serpents among the people, and they bit the people so that many Israelites died. The people came to Moses and said, "We have sinned by speaking against the Lord and against you. Pray to the Lord to take away the serpent from us." So Moses prayed for the people, and the Lord said to Moses, "Make a poisonous serpent and set it on the pole, and everyone who is bitten shall look at it and live." So Moses made a serpent of bronze and put it upon a pole. And whenever a serpent bit someone, that person would look at the serpent of bronze and live. I can't, there's just so much stupid shit in this Bible. I can't. Okay, so let's go back. So first of all, he's harming his own people again. Put another tab, okay? We have to have tabs for all these things. So when we're out there on the mean streets of TikTok talking to people and arguing with them, we'll be able to find these. But here we are, God harming the Israelites. Because people act like he never harmed his own people. He did it all the time. 2, I want you to imagine for a minute, there's a bunch of people who have been bitten by snakes. Okay, and God says, go make a snake and put it on the top of your staff. How long do you think it took Moses to make a fucking snake out of bronze? That's not like something you sit down and do in 15 minutes. So all these like people with snake bites are waiting for him to like form, like that can take forever. How ridiculous is this story? This is just so dumb. Okay. The journey to Moab. The Israelites set out and camped in Oboth. They set out from Oboth and camped at Abarim in the wilderness bordering Moab toward the sunrise. From there they set out and camped in the Wadi Zered. From there they set out and camped on the other side of the Arnon in the wilderness that extends from the boundary of the Amorites. For the Arnon is the boundary of Moab, between Moab and the Amorites. Wherefore it is said in the book of wars of the Lord. Now I need to know if there's really a book of wars of the Lord, or if that's just something they added, because there's other things that they mention sometimes, and those things don't actually exist. So I want to know, does that actually exist? Anyway, it says, Wahed in Zupha and the Wadis, the Arnon and the slopes of the Wadis that extend to the sea of Ar and lie along the border of Moab. From there they continued to Beer. That is the well of which the Lord said to Moses, gather the people together and I will give them water. Then Israel sang this song, spring up, O well, sing to it, the well that the leaders sank, that the nobles of the people dug with the scepter, with the staff. From the wilderness to Matana, from Matana to Nahaliel, from Nahaliel to Bamuth. Why did I lose my thing? I lost my light for some reason. And from Bamuth to the valley lying in the region of Moab by the top of Pisgah that overlooks the wasteland. I have no idea what any of that means, but let's find out why my light isn't lighting. That is strange. There we go. Sorry about that. Hey, how are you, Ethereal Ember? How is everybody? Hey, buddy, good to see you. People sneak in when I'm reading, and then I don't see you guys. Anybody have questions or anything so far? Because I'm telling you, it's hard to get through these boring chapters of the Old Testament. All right, King Sihon defeated. Then Israel sent messengers to King Sihon of the Amorites, saying, let me pass through your land. We will not turn aside into field or vineyard. We will not drink the water of any well. We will go by the king's highway until we have passed through your territory. But Sihon would not allow Israel to pass through his territory. Now, I want you guys to understand, Israel has gone from territory to territory, just slaughtering people and pillaging them. Would you let them walk through? Do you would you think that they were coming with peaceful intentions? Because I probably wouldn't, and I'd probably be going, no, you can't walk through either. Okay. But Sihon would not allow Israel to pass through his territory. Sihon gathered all his people together and went out against Israel to the wilderness. He came to Jahaz and fought against Israel. Israel put him to the sword and took possession of his land from the Arnon to the Jabbok, as far as the Ammonites, for the boundary of the Ammonites was strong. Israel took all these towns, and Israel settled in all the towns of the Amorites, in Heshbon, and in all the villages For Heshbon was a city of King Sihon of the Amorites, who had fought against the former king of Moab and captured all his land as far as the Arnon. Therefore, the ballad singers say, come to Heshbon, let it be built, let the city of Sihon be established. For fire came out from Heshbon, flame from the city of Sihon. It devoured Ar of Moab and swallowed up the heights of Arnon. Woe to you, O Moab! You are undone, O people of Chemosh. He has made his sons fugitives and his daughters captives to an Amorite king, Sihon. So their prosperity perished from Heshbon to Dibon, and we laid waste until fire spread to Medeba. Now, I know that you can't understand how that was a song back in the time, but it was really a banger back then. It's just it doesn't translate well to English. In ancient Hebrew, you guys would all be like rapping to, like you guys would be spitting out the verses. Thank you, Stella and Noah. That's cute. Thus Israel settled in the land of the Amorites. Moses sent to spy out Jazer, and they captured its villages and dispossessed the Amorites who were there. I know it was a great song, Randy. You probably know it in the original Hebrew. Really? Okay. Actually, Thinker could probably fucking sing it in the original Hebrew. She's talented. She can sing and she speaks Hebrew now. Well, pretty much. She reads Hebrew. Then they turned and went up the road to Bashan, and King Og of Bashan, I don't know, came out against them, he and all his people, to battle at Edrei. I don't know these names, but Edrei. And the Lord said to Moses, do not be afraid of him, for I have given him into your hand with all his people and all his land. You shall do to him as you did to King Sihon of the Amorites, who ruled in Heshbon. So they killed him, his sons, and all his people, and there was no survivor left. And they took possession of his land. So they did it again. They did it again.
I was just looking up the historicity of King Heshbon. Nothing really extra biblical, but there's archaeological evidence at Tall Heshbon, a destruction lair. I was just looking that up because I always wonder, who actually existed in the Bible. It's a place as well along the Jordan River, but it seems like there's no real evidence that he existed, but it points towards kind of like Jesus, like he probably existed.
But no way to know for sure. I'm a mess today. What the heck? Knocking my lamp over. Okay. Whatever you little fart emoticon there, whatever your name is, you don't like your Bible? You don't want me to read your Bible? Is that why you told me to shut my bitch ass up? Or do you not like it that it's a non-believer reading it and educating themselves on it? That probably really is what irritates you. You'd like us to remain stupid like you. Sorry, can't do that. Okay. So, again, go ahead and mark your Bibles, Numbers 21 verses 33 through 35 for another G side. Let's mark up those G sides for Jesus. G sides for Jesus, y'all. Okay. Balak summons Balaam to curse, or is it Balaam? Balak summons Balaam to curse Israel. The Israelites set out and camped in the plains of Moab across the Jordan from Jericho. Now Balak, son of Zippor, saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites. Moab was in great dread of the people because they were so numerous. Moab was overcome with fear of the people of Israel, and Moab said to the elders of Midian, "This horde will now lick up all that is around us, as an ox licks up the grass of the field." Now Balak, son of Zippor, was king of Moab at the time. He sent messengers to Balaam, son of Beor at Pethor, which is on the Euphrates in the land of Ammah, to summon him, saying, "A people has come out of Egypt. They have spread over the face of the earth, and they have settled next to me. Come now, curse this people for me, since they are stronger than I. Perhaps I shall be able to defeat them and drive them from the land. For I know that whomever you bless is blessed, and whomever you curse is cursed." Who is he talking to? People. Who is he talking to now? The son of Zippor was king of Moab at the time. He sent a messenger to Balaam, son of to Balaam. Okay, to Balaam. So apparently that's kind of weird. Yeah, it does trigger them hard. I did not know that. I want to highlight that. I did not know. Oh, I am not with it today, you guys. Okay. So Balaam was able to, like, whoever he blessed, but whoever he cursed, and it worked. That's pretty powerful. Balaam seems like he was pretty powerful, if you ask me. So the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian departed with the fees for divination in their hand. And they came to Balaam and gave him Balak's message. He said to them, "Stay here tonight, and I will bring back word to you, just as the Lord speaks to me." So the officials of Moab stayed with Balaam. God came to Balaam and said, "Who are these men with you?" Balaam said to God, "King Balak, son of Zippor of Moab, has sent me this message. A people has come out of Egypt and has spread over the face of the earth. Now come, curse them for me. Perhaps I shall be able to fight against them and drive them out." God said to Balaam, "You shall not go with them. You shall not curse the people, for they are blessed." So Balaam rose in the morning and said to the officials of Balak, "Go to your own land, for the Lord has refused to let me go with you." So the officials of Moab rose and went to Balak and said, "Balaam refuses to come with us." Once again, Balak sent officials, more numerous and more distinguished than these. So first, like, they sent, like Rudy Giuliani, and then that didn't work, so they sent Trump, okay? Once again, Balak sent officials more numerous, and his goons, okay? And more distinguished than these, they came to Balaam and said to him, "Thus is Balak, son of Zippor, do not let anything hinder you from coming to me, for I will surely do you great honor, and whatever you say to me, I will do. Come curse this people for me." But Balaam replied to the servant of Balak, "Although Balak were to give me his house full of silver and gold, I could not go beyond the command of the Lord my God to do less or more. You remain here as the others did, so that I may learn what more the Lord may say to me." That night God came to Balaam and said to him, "If the men have come to summon you, get up and go with them, but do only what I tell you to do." So Balaam got up in the morning, saddled his donkey, and went with the officials of Moab. Is the donkey going to talk? Is this the one where the donkey talks? This is the donkey talking, isn't it? Oh, good. I did not have donkey talking on my bingo card today.
In the beginning of the chapter, or a few chapters before, I think, sorry, let me move away. Did they say they weren't going to do anything to the Amorites? And then someone was like, "Well, since we knew what they did to the Amorites, we're wary of them." I'm kind of wondering. They're like, "Oh, we're just going to walk through. If we take any water, we'll pay for it."
Yeah, at the beginning they do say that, yeah. And then
Oh,
the
but
Amorites
then-
don't let them. So then they destroy him.
Oh. So they were. So the Amorites were just protecting themselves, and then.
Right.
And then they were like, well, we're gonna do it anyways. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So.
Okay, gotcha.
So Israel has been going through like demolishing town after town, and then they come to the Amorites and they go, "Let us pass through. We won't take anything. We won't hurt anybody." I wouldn't believe them. I wouldn't let them walk through. And so the Amorites were like, "Nah, you cannot walk through." And so they were like, "Then we're going to destroy you." So they did.
Okay. I'm following. Gotcha.
All right. So now we're at Balaam and his donkey and the angel. Here we go. We're in chapter 22, verse 22, y'all. Hey, Archbishop, good to see you. I don't see everybody. Drusilla, good to see you. Hello. Welcome in. All right. We are at verse 22. God's anger was kindled because he was going, and the angel of the Lord took his stand in the road as his adversary. Now he was riding on the donkey, and his two servants were with him. The donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with a drawn sword in his hand. So the donkey turned off the road and went into the field. And Balaam struck the donkey to turn it back onto the road. Then the angel of the Lord stood in the narrow pathway between the vineyards with a wall on either side. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it scraped against the wall and scraped Balaam's foot against the wall. So he struck it again. Then the angel of the Lord went ahead and stood in a narrow place where there was no way to turn either to the right or to the left. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it lay down under Balaam, and Balaam's anger was kindled, and he struck the donkey with his staff. Then the Lord opened the mouth of the donkey, and it said to Balaam, "Oh my God. What have I done to you that you have struck me these 3 times? Balaam said to the donkey, "Because you have made a fool of me, I wish I had a sword in my hand. I would kill you right now." Okay, so I just want you to picture for just one fucking moment, okay, that this donkey calmly said to this man, "Why have you struck me 3 times?" Now, first of all, if a donkey could talk, he would be Eddie Murphy from Shrek. He would go, "What the fuck are you doing?" He would not be so nice, okay? He would go off on him. Second of all, why is Balaam not shocked that his donkey just started talking to him? He's literally not shocked.
I have a serious theological question about this.
Okay.
Is this where God literally talks out of his own ass?
Oh my God, I'm gonna write that down. God talks. That is great. All right, I am right now, so I'll never forget that again. That's a huge thing. He wasn't shocked. His donkey was. I know, he's just not shocked at all. It's so fucking weird. Okay. So then he threatens to kill him too, because God's men are abusive and murderous. That's one thing I have learned reading these books. Beating you wasn't enough. If I had a sword, I'd kill you right now. Well, Shadow Slays does know what's up. Welcome in, Auntie. I'm CrystalJae. Every Wednesday we do Non-Believers Bible Study, and so welcome in. The rest of the week I do conversations with Christians, and Shadow Slays and Born Again are amazing people. So, okay. "Because you have made a fool of me, I wish I had a sword in my hand. I would kill you right now." But the donkey said to Balaam, "Am I not your donkey, which you've ridden all your life to this day?" Really? Do you really think he had the same fucking donkey his whole life? Like, I don't think that's real. Okay. "Have I been in the habit of treating you this way?" And he said, "No." Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with his drawn sword in his hand, and he bowed down, falling on his face. The angel of the Lord said to him, "Why have you struck your donkey these 3 times? I have come out as an adversary because your way is perverse before me. The donkey saw me and turned away from me these 3 times. If it had not turned away from me, surely just now I would have killed you and let it live." Then Balaam said to the angel of the Lord, "I have sinned, for I did not know that you were standing in the road to oppose me. Now therefore, if it is displeasing to you, I will return home." The angel of the Lord said to Balaam, "Go with the men, but speak only what I tell you to speak." So Balaam went on with the officials to Balak. This is a story about a man who has active religious psychosis, is hearing his donkey talk, and now having visions. This is what this is a story of. It's stupid.
You know what it reminds me of is, a lot of people do cross references and parallelism in the Bible. Jesus rode a donkey, but it didn't talk, so we probably can't trust that he was the savior.
True. I mean, if this guy could have a donkey talk, how come Jesus' donkey didn't talk to him?
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you're the Christ, I mean, you can't even make a donkey talk. Come on.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid. When Balak had heard that Balaam had come, he went out to meet him at Moab on the boundary formed by the Arnon. At the farthest point of the boundary, Balak said to Balaam, "Did I not send to summon you? Why did you not come to me? Am I not able to honor you?" Balaam said to Balak, "I have come to you now, but do I have power to say just anything? The word God puts in my mouth, that is what I must say." Then Balaam went with Balak, and they came to Kirath Huzoth. Balak sacrificed oxen and sheep and sent them to Balaam and to the officials who were with them. Okay, so now we're going to get into Balaam's oracles. And we'll do his oracles, and that's where we'll end it. It'll be chapter 23, 24. Chapter 23 and 24. He has 4 oracles, I believe. Yeah, 4 oracles. It's true. The talking animals, it's just so ridiculous. All right. On that day, Balak took Balaam and brought him up to Bamuth Baal, and from there he could see part of the people of Israel. Then Balaam said to Balak, "Build me 7 altars here and prepare 7 bulls and 7 rams for me." Balak did as Balaam had said, and Balak and Balaam offered a bull and a ram on each altar. Then Balaam said to Balak, "Stay here beside your burnt offerings while I go aside. Perhaps the Lord will come to meet me. Whatever he shows me, I will tell you." And he went to a bare height. So Balak is about to face Israel. And he's literally talking to one of Israel's prophets, when you think about it, to tell him what to do in this case. I guess it's kind of the smartest thing to do. You're literally talking to the enemy's, top dog, because he has the direct connection to God. So then God met Balaam, and Balaam said to him, "I have arranged the 7 altars and have offered a bull and a ram on each altar." The Lord put a word in Balaam's mouth and said, "Return to Balak, and this is what you must say." So he returned to Balak, who was standing beside his burnt offerings with all the officials of Moab. Then Balaam uttered his oracle, saying, so this is his first oracle. Hey, Jared, good to see you. Trust, I saw you swing by. I don't know if you're still here. Jose, welcome in. "Balak has brought me from Aram, the king of Moab, from the eastern mountains. Come curse Jacob for me. Come denounce Israel. How can I curse whom God has not cursed? How can I denounce those whom the Lord has not denounced? From the top of the crags I see him. From the hills I behold him. Here is a people living alone and not reckoning itself among the nations. Who can count the dust of Jacob or number the dust clouds of Israel? Let me die the death of the upright and let my end be like this. Then Balak said to Balaam, what have you done to me? I brought you to curse my enemies, but now you have done nothing but bless them. He answered, must I not take care to say what the Lord puts into my mouth? Okay, so let's learn a little bit about that oracle. Tell me about Balaam's first oracle and the rabbinical teaching. It doesn't understand my words. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you so much for all the gifts and the likes and the shares. Good to see you, Gimme. Good to see everybody here today. I do have a gift goal. I don't stay an extra hour on a Bible study day because nobody needs an extra hour of the Bible. Hey, Noah, good to see you. But I do appreciate it. And when I reach my gift goals, that really does help it so I can go live more often, bring you more shows. I'm having problems today. I'm just, now I understand. My laptop came unplugged. Okay, back. Okay, let's learn about Balaam's first oracle. Whew. All right. I gotta let my dog in. You gotta get off the bed. Quincy. Come on in. Hang on 1 second. I'll be right there, you guys. Come on. I gotta get back to what I'm doing. Come on. Okay, sorry about that. All right. Back.
Yeah, that oracle's pretty confusing even for me. I'm interested in how it's deciphered.
Yeah. When Balaam finally opens his mouth to curse Israel, which is what Balak paid him to do, he instead delivers this oracle. How can I curse whom God has not cursed? How can I denounce those whom the Lord has not denounced? What the oracle is basically saying, God already chose Israel, and Balaam, despite being a famous pagan seer, has zero powers to override God's blessing. Hey, Zach, good to see you. If you want to come up, guest box is open. Israel is described as a people set apart, living apart from the nations, which rabbis read as a hint at their distinct covenant identity. God's favor is the defining factor, not magic or manipulation. Balaam ends the admiration, not hostility, saying he wishes he had a righteous death like Israel, a stunning reversal for a hired enemy prophet. Rabbinical tradition is fascinated by Balaam. They view him as a real prophet, but a morally corrupt one, with genuine supernatural insight, who is ultimately controlled by God. Oh, cool. That's really cool. I hope you guys have a lot of fun doing that. Balaam had prophetic power nearly equal to Moses's. Rabbinical texts say God gave the nations a prophet who could match Moses in raw prophetic ability, so they could say, if we had our own Moses, we would have behaved better. But Balaam used his gifting selfishly. Unlike Moses, who used it for liberation and compassion, this contrast is central in Jewish commentary. God put Balaam into a prophetic trance against his will. Rabbinic sources emphasize that Balaam wanted to curse Israel, but the divine presence forced a blessing out of his mouth. Okay, so like, that I don't get in the text. To me, that sounds a little like Jewish apologetics. I don't see where God forced Balaam to say that. I see that he felt like he couldn't go against what God wanted, but I don't feel like God actually controlled his mouth. And that's what they believe, like God actually controlled him. A people dwelling alone equals Israel moral and spiritual separateness. When Balaam says Israel lives apart from the nations, rabbis teach this meaning. Israel is distinct in law, ethics, and worship. They cannot be fully absorbed into pagan nations. Their identity is tied to covenant rather than geography or empire. This verse is often cited to explain Jewish survival despite persecution. Balaam knew Israel's secret strength. Rabbinical teaching says Balaam had spiritual insights that let him see. Israel's tents arranged modestly so no one faced another's doorway, symbolizing ethical living and family purity. Israel's divine protection, especially through the Shekinah, God's presence. Let me make that very clear. Shekinah is God's feminine presence, okay? That's not just God's presence. It's the feminine. This is why his curse attempts fail. Balaam's aberration, let me die the death of the upright, is hypocritical. Rabbis highlight that Balaam wanted the rewards of righteousness without the life of righteousness. Classic teacher Rashi says, he wished to die like the righteous, but he did not wish to live like them. This is a critique of spiritual opportunism. Balaam represents pagan magic confronted by ethical monotheism. In rabbinic thought, Balaam equals manipulative, transactional magic. God's message equals ethics, covenant, and justice. When Balaam speaks, God's voice overrides the magical framework entirely. Balaam becomes a symbol of someone who sees truth clearly but rejects it. Rabbinic literature portrays Balaam as intelligent, spiritually perceptive, moral failure. He recognizes Israel's blessedness and glory and God's supremacy, but still chooses greed, manipulation, harming others. This becomes a larger theme, seeing truth, but not choosing truth. Balaam's first oracle, a blessing instead of a curse, emphasizes God's unbreakable protection over Israel, shows Israel's uniqueness and covenant identity. Rabbinical teaching says that Balaam had great prophetic power but terrible character. God forced him to bless Israel against his will. His statements reveal deep truths about Israel's identity and God's protection. Balaam becomes a symbolic cautionary tale, a person who sees the truth clearly but chooses corruption anyway. All right, let's go into his second oracle. So Balak said to him, come with me to another place from which you may see them. You shall see only part of them and shall not see them all. Then curse them for me from there. So he took him to the field of Zophim, to the top of Pisgah. He built 7 altars and offered a bull and a ram on each altar. Balaam said to Balak, stand here beside your burnt offerings while I meet the Lord over there. The Lord met Balaam, put a word into his mouth, and said, return to Balak, and this is what you shall say. When he came to him, he was standing beside the burnt offerings with the officials of Moab. Balak said to him, what has the Lord said? Then Balaam uttered his oracle, saying, so oracle number 2. Hey, Grandma Zana, if you want to come up, guest box is open. Hey, Megan, good to see you. We're in chapter 23. I'm starting right now in verse 18. Rise, Balak, and hear. Listen to me, O son of Zippor. God is not a human being that he should lie, or immortal that he should change his mind. Highlight that verse. You're going to need that later, okay, in your life. Has he promised and will he not do it? Has he spoken and will he not fulfill it? There's lots of times God made promises that he didn't keep. What the fuck? Okay, sorry. See, I received a command to bless. He has blessed, and I cannot revoke it. He has not beheld misfortune in Jacob, nor has he seen trouble in Israel. The Lord their God is with them, acclaimed as a king among them. God who brings them out of Egypt is like the horns of a wild ox for them. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, no divination against Israel. Now it shall be said of Jacob and Israel, see what God has done? Look, a people rising up like a lioness and rousing itself like a lion. It does not lie down until it has eaten the prey and drunk the blood of the slain. Then Balak said to Balaam, do not curse them at all and do not bless them at all. But Balaam answered Balak, did I not tell you whatever the Lord says? That is what I must do. So let's read a little bit more about the second oracle, but don't forget to highlight 19 because that is the one where when Christians try to tell you that, like God changed his mind, you can tell them, like, I thought God didn't change his mind. There you go. It's right there. Tell me what the rabbinical teaching is for Balaam's second oracle, but can you make it shorter than you did last time? Because that is very long. Okay, Balaam's second oracle, main point of the oracle, God does not change his mind. God already blessed Israel. Israel will rise like a lion. I have one more question for you. Why does it separate Jacob and Israel in this oracle when Jacob is Israel? God doesn't lie or change, unlike pagan gods. This was radical, okay? This was a radical. Rabbinic teaching says the oracle publicly rejects the ancient idea that gods could be bribed, bought, tricked, or manipulated. Balaam basically announces a new vision of deity, a God whose ethics and decisions are stable. Oh, that just does not describe Yahweh. I'm sorry, Pumpkin, it just doesn't. A pagan prophet recognizes that Israel's God is supreme. The rabbis say the shocking part is not the blessing, it's that Balaam, a master sorcerer, admits that his power is nothing next to Israel's God. The lion image equals Israel's moral strength. The rabbinic teaching says that it isn't military first, it's ethical power. Israel rises like a lion because they return to Torah at dawn. They pray before battle. Righteousness protects them. Balaam sees Israel's future victories not because of magic, but covenant. Rabbis highlight that Balaam, a man who made a living off spells, announces the opposite. Israel's success comes from justice, not magic. Dude, go ahead, welcome in if you want to come up. The guest box is open. Balaam becomes a witness against his own profession. Rabbinic teaching says God forces Balaam to destroy the entire logic of sorcery with his own mouth. He basically declares magic doesn't work on Israel. So why Jacob and Israel being separated in this oracle? Jacob equals the people in their ordinary, vulnerable state. Jacob presents the everyday nation, the human flawed side, the people as they struggle or suffer. It is their earthly identity. Israel equals the people in their elevated covenant identity. Israel represents the spiritual chosen identity, the nation walking in its calling, the people when they rise to moral greatness. It is their higher identity. So I think that kind of explains that Jacob, they're showing the two sides of Israel, their human, side and their divine side. So Balak said to Balaam, come now, I will take you to another place. Perhaps it will please God that you may curse them from me from there. So Balak took Balaam to the top of Peor, which overlooks the wasteland. Balaam said to Balak, "Build me 7 altars here and prepare 7 bulls and 7 rams for me." So Balak did as Balaam had said and offered a bull and a ram on each altar. Now Balaam saw that it pleased the Lord to bless Israel, so he did not go, as at other times, to look for omens, but set his face toward the wilderness. Balaam looked up and saw Israel camping tribe by tribe. Then the Spirit of God came upon him, and he uttered his oracle, saying, let me look that one up. Can you do the third oracle now? The oracle of Balaam, son of Beor, the oracle of the man whose eye is clear, the oracle of one who hears the words of God, who sees the vision of the Almighty, who falls down but with eyes uncovered. How fair are your tents, O Jacob, your encampments, O Israel, like palm groves that stretch far away, like gardens beside a river, like aloes that the Lord has planted, like cedar trees besides the waters. Water shall flow from his buckets, and his seed shall have abundant water. His king shall be higher than Agag, and his kingdom shall be exalted. God who brings him out of Egypt is like the horns of a wild ox for him. He shall devour the nations that are his foes and break their bones. He shall strike with his arrows. He lay down like a lion and like a lioness. Who will rouse him up? Blessed is everyone who blesses you, and cursed is everyone who curses you. The third oracle. This is the moment where Balaam stops trying to curse and finally embraces the vision. He speaks with opened eyes and blesses Israel freely. How fair are your tents, O Jacob. Israel is like garden cedars and overflowing waters. Balaam finally sees Israel with open eyes. The Midrash says this means moral clarity. Rabbis teach that Balaam had insight before, but here he gains ethical clarity, finally recognizing the goodness of Israel's community. Hey, open book. How fair are your tents, their modesty and morality. This is the most famous rabbinic interpretation. They say Balaam noticed that Israel's tents were arranged so no doorway faced another, symbolizing respect, privacy, modesty, strong families. This becomes the opening line for the Jewish prayer, Ma Tovu. Israel's strength comes from inner life, not military power. The garden, cedars, and river represents Torah, study, justice, community, and harmony. Rabbis say the oracle teaches that spiritual structure equals national strength. Balaam admits blessings flow through him, not from him. This is a radical and rabbinic thought. The greatest sorcerer in the ancient world is forced to admit he is just a messenger, not a power source. Blessed are those who bless you. Reversal of his career. The rabbis point out the irony. The man hired to curse announces that cursing Israel brings danger and blessing them brings blessings. Unfortunately, that teaching lives in infamy. I can't talk today because we have so many Christians now who believe that if they don't do every single thing that the nation of Israel wants, then they are somehow going against God himself. And that's a dangerous fucking thought to have right there. All right, let's continue on. Then Balak's anger was kindled against Balaam, and he struck his hands together. Balak said to Balaam, I summoned you to curse my enemies, but instead you have blessed them these 3 times. Now be off with you. Go home, I said. I will reward you richly, but the Lord has denied you any reward. And Balaam said to Balak, did I not tell your messengers whom you sent to me? If Balak should give me his house full of silver and gold, I would not be able to go beyond the word of the Lord, to do either good or bad by my own will. What the Lord says, that is what I will say. So now I'm going to my people, let me advise you that this people will do to your people in days to come. So now I'm going to my people. Let me advise you what this people will do to your people in the days to come. So the fourth and final oracle. Let's find out about it. All right. Tell me about the fourth oracle. Let's read it. So he uttered his oracle, saying, the oracle of Balaam, son of Beor, the oracle of the man whose eyes is clear, the oracle of one who hears the words of God and knows the knowledge of the Most High, who sees the vision of the Almighty, who falls down, but with his eyes uncovered. I see him, but not now. I behold him, but not near. A star shall come out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel. It shall crush the borderlands of Moab and the territory of all the Shethites. Edom will become a possession, Seir a possession of its enemies, while Israel does valiantly. One out of Jacob shall rule and destroy the survivors of Ir. Then he looked on Amalek and uttered his oracle, saying, poor Amalek. First among the nations was Amalek, but its end is to perish forever. Then he looked on the Kenite and uttered his oracle, saying, enduring is your dwelling place, and your nest is set in the rock. Yet Cain is destined for burning. How long shall Ashur take you away captive? Again he uttered his oracle, saying, alas, who shall live when God does this? But ships shall come from Kittim, and shall afflict Ashur and Eber, and he also shall perish forever. Then Balaam got up and went back to his place, and Balak also went his way. Oh yeah, we're in Numbers. All right, let's read about the fourth and final oracle. This is Balaam's most famous and most controversial prophecy. He sees a figure, not now, not near, and declares, a star shall come out of Jacob. A scepter shall rise out of Israel. This ruler will defeat Israel's enemies and bring justice. It's a distant, future-oriented kingly vision. The star equals a future king from Israel, not Balaam's time. Rabbis agree Balaam is seen a future leader from the line of Israel chosen by God who brings justice to hostile nations. Different rabbis identify this figure differently. Some say it's David, some, the Messiah. It's a real future king, not a metaphor. Balaam sees Israel's destiny after his own failure. This is huge in rabbinic thought. Balaam failed to curse Israel, so God shows him that even in the long run, Israel wins. Yeah, rising scepter. Not only can you not curse them now, you can't stop their future either. Star symbolizes divine guidance and moral leadership. Rabbis read the star and scepter as signs of righteous rule, justice, clarity, guidance. It is not sorcery or astrology. It's a leader empowered by God, not by magic. Balaam becomes the unwilling prophet of Israel's greatness. This is the radical part. A pagan seer announces Israel will have kings. Israel will triumph. Israel will endure, and Israel's future is bright. Rabbis love the irony. The man hired to curse becomes the herald of Israel's golden future. The oracle condemns violent nations in a moral way, not a tribal way. The nations defeated in the oracle, Moab, Edom, Amalek, are seen by rabbis as symbolizing brutality, arrogance, and injustice. Okay, I have something to say about that. All right. So this coming king isn't just an Israelite hero, it's moral revenger against oppression. The fourth oracle teaches that a future Israelite ruler, the star, will rise. Balaam himself sees Israel's unstoppable destiny. The prophecy is about justice, not magic. God forces Israel's enemies to hear their own downfall from the mouth of their hired prophet. Hello, Majora. Good to see you. I don't know. I have a special place in my heart for Amalek. I know you guys have heard my song. I'll play it in just a minute before we close out for the day. But my song, No Kings, No Gods, is because it never dawned on me until recently. I mean, deconstructing, you learn so much, right? Like, you learn things about the Bible you didn't know. You learn things about history, science, all kinds of things you just didn't know if you listen to the people who are on these platforms talking all day. You can learn so much from them. Dr. Blitz, Ian, Justin, Thinker, there's so many of them, right? And I don't know. I guess I was never taught. I didn't realize. It never dawned on me that the Amalekites, are descendants of Amalek, who was a descendant of Esau. And Jacob I loved, Esau I hated. I feel like God hated that entire line before Esau was ever born. Those people were doomed before their ancestor was born, not just before they were born, but literally before their ancestor was born, for no fucking reason. He never did anything. And he was hated. Amalek is then hated, and because of that, the Amalekites are doomed to a G-side that we will read about eventually. But you guys, that is today's Non-Believers Bible study. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Shadow, what do you got? Are you going to be going live later today?
Later. I got work for another
tonight.
5 or 6 hours. But great Bible study, Crystal. Which is ironic as an atheist to say that, but yes. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much for being here. I don't know who's on live to raid right now. Let's go check out the Discord and see who is live right now. We got some live announcements. If Christ Before Jesus is still live, go raid Jaren. Change your profile picture to Jaren with a turkey on his head and go say Crystal. Okay, you guys, I love you all. I will